Well, it's time once again to go out to the other coast of the United States and check in with Michael Snyder and find out what's happening with all the good movies that don't exist in theaters much. Hi, Michael.
Hi, how you doing, Alex? And greetings, everyone. It's a little before Valentine's Day, and a lot of movies are about couples, and how appropriate. So let's get down to what you can check out along the new movie front. And we'll kick it off with Supernova, written and directed by Harry McQueen. And it concerns the committed partnership between Sam, a well-known concert pianist played by Colin Firth, and Tusker, an acclaimed author played by Stanley Tucci. These companions of 20 years have been out and proud, and now they're taking a road trip through the British countryside on their way to a special recital by Sam. But rather than a joyful getaway, the journey, which includes stopovers with friends, it's fraught with trepidation since Tusker is grappling with dementia. It doesn't take long to realize that there's a crossroads ahead and an emotional collision is inevitable. To the actors' credit, they never overplay the situation, and they still earn our concern. Tucci, in particular, is marvelous as Tusker, confronting the possibility of losing so much so soon, and he worries how it's going to impact Sam. The depiction of fidelity and the potential for tragedy they're palpable and powerful. Great performances by both guys, very sensitively done. Supernova is in theaters right now where they're open and will be available via digital platforms over the next few days. That's one, and again, kind of sad. And another tragic coupling happens in Bliss. Now, I love sci-fi, and I'm a sucker for alternate reality scenarios, so Bliss seemed to be an ideal movie for me. In it, Greg, who's kind of a sad sack divorced guy played by Owen Wilson, daydreams about a better life for himself in an idealized world, but his lackadaisical attitude towards his office job gets him canned, and maybe things are even worse for him than they initially seem. Then he meets Isabel, who's this strange and beautiful street person played by Salma Hayek, and she may have the key to bring Greg some happiness, his bliss, if you will, since she insists that they are living in a simulation and that there's a better world elsewhere. Greg's estranged daughter thinks differently, but is she even real? I mean, I wanted to love Bliss so much more than I did. Although it's ambitious with committed performances, it suffers from convoluted storytelling that doesn't quite hang together. I would say its reach exceeds its grasp. I mean, a movie like this really needs to have an internal, in-universe logic, even if it goes wild and off the rails, and this doesn't achieve that. I appreciated Wilson, who does some heartbreaking work here, and Hayek, whose character demands a sort of daring that she taps into, but I was left shrugging at the end. Director Mike Cahill tries to do these tonal shifts that don't always resonate. The murky, downbeat segments of Greg's Odyssey are draining to watch, so mission accomplished there. It's a view of LA's underbelly at its grimmest, but when things lighten up, on the visual palette, it's still kind of a drag. Ultimately, James Stern's script is too scattershot in its construction to cohere, and the sci-fi stuff is wonky and unconvincing. I'll give Bliss credit for trying to do something creative and meaningful about broken people and the search for salvation. I just wish the result wasn't so scrambled and shaky. All right, let's see if we can lighten things up a little. Oh, no, we can't. Malcolm and Marie is a spare but bold on-screen duet for John David Washington, most recently in the sci-fi film Tenet, and Zendaya, MJ in the current run of Spider-Man movies. It's the story of one after-hours night in the lives of a Hollywood couple on the rise. Washington's Malcolm is a screenwriter and director. Zendaya's Marie is a model and actress, and they're back at their stylish temporary lodging after the premiere of his latest, seemingly well-received movie, which may or may not have been inspired by the lovers' tumultuous relationship. As such, feelings boil over, recriminations are hurled, passions are unleashed. This was clearly a collaborative project for the actors, and writer-director Sam Levinson, who created the buzzy HBO youth drama Euphoria, which stars Zendaya. Washington and Zendaya give highly emotional performances that get profane at times, but remain compelling even when we get frustrated with their characters, who seem unrelentingly self-destructive despite their good fortune. I mean, it doesn't hurt that we're looking at two of the more charismatic young actors in the modern movie biz. As for the man behind the camera, Levinson is the son of filmmaker Barry Levinson, who made his rep with crowd pleasers like Diner and Rain Man and Good Morning Vietnam. But the late John Cassavetes' dark, intimate relationship dramas seem much more of an influence on Levinson the younger than Levinson the elder's populist movie making. In fact, Malcolm and Marie is shot in black and white, like, for instance, Cassavetes' Faces from 1968, and the digital camera used for Malcolm and Marie makes very glistening images instead of the gritty grain of a low-budget indie, so there's a weird disparity there. Malcolm and Marie is very talky, circuitous, and gratuitous in some of its conflict, and there's so much of it that it becomes wearying before it's over. And Zendaya and Washington, the son of Denzel, another legacy kid, they undeniably give it their all, and that's almost enough to recommend it. Malcolm and Marie is on Netflix right now. And finally, the coupling of the twosome in Two of Us is a problem in and of itself. The drama, which is France's submission for the upcoming Academy Awards, finds the clandestine love between Nina, played by the renowned German actress Barbara Sukowa, and Madeline, played by Martine Chevalier of the Comédie Française, oh so snooty, threatened by multiple crises. I mean, for years, these two women have lived in separate apartments across a hall from one another, but they've been lovers on the down low the entire time, and careful not to tell the family of the once married Madeline. Now retired, they kind of long to live openly. So Nina and Madeline plan to leave France for Rome and move in together until unforeseen developments force them to dig deep in very different ways and somehow salvage their shared future. Neither character is above reproach in the way they react to the challenges. Nina is particularly desperate. Nonetheless, Sukowa and Chevalier keep these characters genuine and sympathetic. Two of Us is an impressive first feature from director Filippo Menghetti, who benefited from the great actresses at its heart. It's in theaters where available and on demand via Vudu and Google Play. What are you watching, buddy?
What am I watching? Well, let's see here. The Dig, which I thought was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
Very masterpiece theatery, right? Drama set in 1939 in the English countryside.
Yeah. And let me see here. Anything else? I don't think you've reviewed One Night in Miami.
Oh, I loved One Night in Miami, and it's about a presumed meeting that may or may not have occurred.
No, it did occur. It absolutely occurred.
Malcolm X, Cassius Clay before he changed his name to Muhammad Ali, just before he changed his name, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown. So you've got the leader of the black Muslim nation, eventually the leader. He would break off from Elijah Muhammad. We've got the heavyweight champion of the world who just won the championship in Miami. We've got the soul singer Sam Cooke. And we've got the great Hall of Fame football player, Jim Brown, about to embark on a movie career and leave football behind. And they get together at Malcolm's motel room, and you know, they
don't get it. They don't do it at Malcolm's hotel room. No. And Malcolm's hotel room was at the Fontainebleau in this particular case. This was a room they rented to get together and just sit around and talk. And I think in the movie they say it is the room that is inhabited by. Cook. I'm trying to remember.
Cook's at the Fontainebleau.
Anyway, in real life, they rented this hotel room at a black hotel so they could all get together after the fight and just talk with each other. And this film is based on a play which imagines what went on in that room at the time. Okay, I mean, none of it may have occurred, but the meeting did occur. So
right. Well, no, that was understood. But yeah, I thought the performances were just fantastic by everybody involved.
It was a film that in the beginning I'm going, I don't want to watch this. I don't know.
No, it's a wonderful movie.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it starts crackling, you know.
Leslie Odom Jr. from Hamilton plays Sam Cooke, and he's such a wonderful singer, and he does a few Sam Cooke songs in little vignettes. And look, it's the guy who plays Cassius Clay. The name escapes. None of these performances seemed like impressions. They just were rich and wonderful. I bought every second of the actor's work, I was surprised how good it was. But Regina King, of all people, was the director and is getting kudos. Just got a Golden Globe nomination for her work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this film has also gotten a lot of nominations, SAG-AFTRA, so on. So it's one we shouldn't we shouldn't leave out of your list.
No. I don't want to do that. And honestly, for the dig, I enjoyed it. And for those people who care about casting stuff, it teams Ralph Fiennes and Carey Mulligan, who do really good work. I also wanted to mention it's not a narrative movie per se, but it's available on Hulu. Derek Del Gaudio's In and of Itself, which is this astonishing experience, or at least I felt it was, essentially a film of a long-running interactive theater experience created by this very boyish storyteller, magician, and mentalist, Derek Del Gaudio, who I'd never heard of before. And he's constructed this piece that deals with identity, his own identity, his audiences. Whether seeing it live or via this movie, you're going to start reflecting on your own personality and life. And like the stage show that ran for over 500 performances, this was directed by Frank Oz. And to say too much about In and of Itself would be, I'd undercut its power. I went in cold, and I was blown away. And I'll just say that it was surprising and engaging, and it was sneaky in how it elicits genuine emotion with its revelations. And there are a few intercuts from earlier performances than the central one that was shot here. But that just serves the film, and they're included for good reason. It just kind of creeps up on you, but In and of Itself pays off your patience and can be seen on Hulu. Really, really loved it.
Okay, Michael, tell them where they can find you, okay?
I'm on Culture Blaster, or at Culture Blaster on Twitter, and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page, and here on GABNet when we get it together.
Okay. And by the way, if you stay tuned, there's more GABNet coming right up, and you can catch Michael in our on-demand section as well. Thank you, Michael.